Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I drove home for lunch today at work, and I was getting ready to go to meetings, and I saw that Mitch McConnell had another one of his lapses where he was unable to answer questions or seemingly be able to process any information. In a previous video I did on this one, a number of people were talking about ischemic strokes. I might have the terminology wrong, but the small strokes that they thought he was suffering. And it looks like he had another one, and it was a very similar type situation. He was asked a question of, ironically enough, the previous one was about bipartisanship, and then this one was about him running for re-election in 2026. And before he got 2 words into his response, and then he just went blank. And probably it was like that same woman who came in the last time. She came in and just like, Senator, did you hear the question? You know, she's trying to sort of snap him out of it. We've seen it. We know what's happening, but she's trying to present things in a way that it's not a big deal. Maybe he just didn't hear it. And then he kind of muttered something, and then she just reminded people to speak up when they ask him questions. I don't know if he fielded any more questions after that. But it's clear to us that he's having some medical events. And I'm not wishing ill will on Mitch McConnell. He's had a very long political career. I may not like his politics, but I don't hold ill will to the person, nor do I wish them any ill will like that. Honestly, I'm more concerned with him driving. I sure as heck hope he has a driver, because that's the kind of thing that could get him hurt, and more importantly, could get other people hurt. It really, honestly, the folks in Kentucky really need to start discussing Mitch stepping down. And that's not because I want him replaced with a Democrat, or, for all I know, they'll put in somebody 100 times worse than him. It's more the guy's 80-something years old. He needs to step down. These lapses can't be good. And you can't make the argument to me that, oh yeah, with the other 99.9% of the time he's as sharp as a tack. I don't think so. This is the type of stuff that messes with your brain. I don't think that he is probably as sharp as he used to be. And as a mercy to the man and his family, it would be nice to see him retire. Okay, but that's my my spiel here. Let's ask Spirit, what's going on with Mitch McConnell? He had another one of his incidents. What can you tell us that's going on? You have the 6 of Cups. I think there's a naivety here that he can still do the job. It's just, back in the olden days, you retired. You didn't work till you were 80-something years old, especially if you're as well off as Mitch McConnell. There's no need to. It's time to step down and let somebody take your place. What's crossing this? Part of it is who's going to replace him. His position right now is a very powerful one as the senior senator from Kentucky and the minority leader in the Senate. So there's a lot of power and influence in this position, which is probably why he doesn't want to step down. But at the same time, the 9 of Pentacles is about enjoying what you've got, taking the time to enjoy everything around you. I don't think he's doing that. Underneath is the High Priestess. That could be the woman that just stepped in there, but somebody, his wife, his doctor, the heads of the Republican Party, folks need to come in here and understand what's more important. What is the wise thing to do? I don't think ruling is the wise thing to do. The Republicans will be fine if Mitch McConnell steps down. Well, I hope so anyways. I don't know if Steve Scalise would be the next one in line, but it's time for Mitch. In the past, we've got the Five of Wands. I think this is kind of like the turmoil that happened the last time he had his momentary pause, which is about like 3 weeks ago, I think. There was a big hullabaloo about it because it was the first time that most of us had ever seen or knew that he was having some type of cognitive problem like that. You could also think of this as like his brain and having just synapses just firing randomly, and it's just causing things to shut down. Yeah. It's in the past. I think he was good at being in the fray as a senator, but yeah, he needs to come to an agreement. He needs to pass the torch along, maybe to somebody younger, but to somebody else in the GOP. Likely he'll get to choose his successor, but I think the GOP needs to come down and have that discussion and remove him. And I think those talks probably have started after this second one, because you can't keep denying it and you can't keep just covering this up. It's too obvious for us to see. Again, the Lovers. So between the Two of Cups and the Lovers, it's time. It's time for Mitch to step down. He may not be long for this world if he keeps doing what he's doing, as far as trying to run the country, and at the Senate minority position. That might just be too much stress for him. God, I hope we get the Four of Swords or something like that. No, we get the Eight of Swords. The lesson to be learned: you're not trapped in. You're not stuck in the position. It's okay to let go. He may not want to let go because he's concerned about Trump and he's concerned about the GOP, but you're a voluntary hostage in that case if you think that you have to stay there to see it all the way through. Other people can probably do it, but this is going to be hardest on Mitch to let go because he doesn't want to let go. He likes the trappings of the job, but we don't want to see him die in the job either. You know what I mean? Outcome is the Seven of Swords. He's being robbed. You know what it is? Swords are about intellect. And the Seven of Swords is having your intellect being taken from you. And you're not able to stop it. And at some point, the 7 goes to the 8. If he doesn't recognize that he's having his intellect taken from him, he's going to be mentally incapable of addressing the issues. So he'll be in a position of power, but he won't be able to lead effectively. Not the way that the Republican Party is used to him leading, and not the way that he's used to leading. Again, it's kind of like, and I'm sure I touched on this in my last reading. It's like Dianne Feinstein. When she's there and present, she's pretty sharp. But there's a lot of times she's just not there. She can't hear. She's not following the conversation. That's not saying she's dumb. It's not saying she's incapable. It's just, both Mitch and Dianne used to be up here, and now they're kind of down here. And you don't want them to come down here. This... Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell at 60% are better than a lot of these new politicians, especially the MAGA ones, at 100%. You know what I mean? They've forgotten more stuff than these other folks know. But at the same time, I don't want to see either one of those people die in office because they're too afraid to leave and let go of that power. What's the GOP going to do with Mitch McConnell? I did read that Biden, they've got the hermit card popping up here. They're going to be looking into it. I hear Biden was informed of it. He said he was going to give McConnell a call, describe McConnell as a friend, said, it's not somebody I agree with politically, but, it's somebody he's known for a while and considers a good friend or a friend. And Joe Biden didn't know enough to make really any comments about Mitch's health issues. But what's the GOP going to do with regards to McConnell and these lapses that he's having? They're going to grind forward. might come up with new ideas. I think also they're concerned about election interference, but let's park the election interference aside. They're going to grind forward with it, try and come up with new ideas or different ways of handling things. They can see he's struggling. He is trying to hold on as best he can. And I think this is, in some ways, this is trying to fend off, when I say new ideas, I think this is fending off the MAGA crowd, the newcomers with their new ideas, and it's causing a lot of fighting in it. And Mitch is trying to be the sentry to protect the GOP, but he's not capable of doing it. It's too much. It's just too much for this 81-year-old man to do, or 82-year-old man. I forget how old he is, but he's over 80. The GOP needs to keep moving on. They can't move on with Mitch McConnell. He's kind of a broken horse at this point. Put him out to pasture. It's not a condemnation of the person. We complain about the GOP lacking compassion for other people. They're not being particularly compassionate with their own or on themselves either. That's probably why they're so freaking miserable and why they treat everybody so poorly. They're not even kind to themselves, much less to their peers. So the GOP, they know they need to move on. They know he's just not able to do it. Will Mitch make it easy on him? Will Mitch McConnell step down? Will Mitch McConnell make the decision? It'd be best if Mitch McConnell made that decision. It doesn't need to be told. Will Mitch McConnell step down? Ace of Wands. Let's see. What's that going to tell me? Is it not until next year after the elections are done? Or is this latest one going to just be the one that does it? Leaving. There he goes again. He is seriously thinking about leaving or spending less time in the Senate. The problem with that is the Senate holds you hostage now. If you're not there, like on your committees, I don't know if McConnell's on any committees, but if you're not on your committees, you don't get to vote because the GOP has these stupid rules here. And he's also afraid if he leaves, he's not going to be replaced. I don't know if that's the case, though. I know that's the case with Feinstein. I don't think I just feel like he feels like he's trapped in there. He's not right in the head. I'm not saying he's crazy, but he's not assessing things clearly. Before you could picture Mitch McConnell having great clarity of thought. But that clarity is leaving and he's hostage without that clarity. It's also a strong emotional thing. He doesn't want to leave. Maybe he doesn't want to leave like this, but things aren't getting any better. I think right now the stick is in Mitch McConnell's court. If he chose to leave, he could leave, but he's really concerned about what happens when he leaves. If he chooses to stay, he can stay, but he's not himself here. I think what's going to happen is somebody has to come with him with a message. Somebody he trusts. Again, I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's his chief of staff. I don't know if that's Steve Scalise, who's the whip, or someone else. Somebody has to come with him to a message and tell him it's time to go, and then let McConnell pick his way of exiting. You know what I mean? Like, such and such a date or such an event, or work through the end of the year, or whatever it ends up being. They need to figure out some way to let McConnell make that announcement and make that decision, but it's somebody who can reason with him and show him in some ways that he's being more detrimental to the conservative cause than advancing it. I don't know who that'll be. I don't know if he'll listen. I hope he does. I hope he does. If for no other reason, he served his country. I would just as soon see him retire and live out the rest of his life peacefully and enjoying his family. Okay. That's my reading on Mitch McConnell. We'll see what happens. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and watching this video. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, comments, and shares. It really does help with the algorithm and getting my channel out to be exposed to new viewers. And to the new viewers who've watched or subscribed, welcome to the channel. Hope you liked what you saw, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.